Hey everybody. I'm guessing if you're watching this, then you pretty much already know my story. My name is Tobromancer, and I'm a pretty average guy. I run a small YouTube channel with some of the best viewers around. There's nothing particularly standoutish about me. I just review movies, games, that kind of stuff. When I'm not working on my YouTube videos, I'm doing my best to stay in shape. For the most part. Anyway, one day while I was relaxing, the strangest thing happened to me. I was just chilling out to some of my music, when all of a sudden, I was bitten by a spider. Judging by the bite mark, this wasn't an ordinary spider. This must have been a radioactive spider, which can only mean one thing.
Yes!
Okay guys, let's do this one more time. My name is Tobromancer Parker. I was bitten by a radioactive spider, and for the last 11 seconds, I have been the one and only Spider-Man. I think you know the rest. I went straight to work on making a sweet Spidey suit. And it looked pretty good at it too. Unfortunately, that's about it. After all, it's only been 11 seconds. But I am pretty excited about being Spider-Man. So in the meantime, I'm just going to talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Your friendly neighborhood Tobromancer here. Today I want to talk to you about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And yeah, I know it came out in December, and yeah, I know that the Blu-ray and DVD are already out. But in my defense, I saw the movie back in January, and if most of you remember, my computer broke. So when I saw the movie, I had full intentions of reviewing it at the time. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't very good with my computer breaking, so I decided to wait till the DVD release. When I found out that the DVD had released, I was on my 1-month hiatus working conventions and whatnot. So timing has never been a good thing for me. Another thing I'd like to point out is that I have never really done a review before, so I don't know how to go about it per se. Interesting and all, considering I have a film degree and yet I don't feel like I deserve to be considered someone who can review movies. But regardless, I would be doing a major disservice to this film if I didn't tell you to go watch this movie. It made me believe in movies again, and very few movies have done that. There are maybe only 2 movies in the last year that I saw that actually made me feel something when watching a movie again, and that was Annihilation and Into the Spider-Verse. Everything else is just kind of this trashy, formulaic movie. Unless you guys have suggestions, put them down below, and I'll definitely check them out. And yeah, I know Avengers was really good and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's a movie. And it didn't make me feel the way that those 2 other movies made me feel. But regardless, we're talking about Into the Spider-Verse today, so let's jump into that, shall we? So in order to do this review, I watched the movie multiple times. The first time I watched it was in theaters with my father, who kind of gave me a look when he found out it was going to be an animation movie. That being said, walking out of that movie, he really did thoroughly enjoy it, which was a real treat considering I thought he was going to hate it. There's a lot of poppy culture kind of things going on in that film. It is really written and edited in such a witty way that maybe you might not catch everything the first time you watch it. The second time I watched it on my own. I rented it from my movie place, and that was the definitive watch for me. That's when I got the whole thing. I actually watched the, if you ever watch the DVD, there's the original movie and then there's the alternate version movie. And I watched the alternate version movie and I saw what they were going for, but I'm really glad I got the theatrical release instead. I think that was a much better version of the story. And yeah, I understand where they were coming from in the alternate universe version, but maybe I could have enjoyed it a lot more if they had finished the animation. A lot of it is just, storyboarding images and stuff like that, so they didn't really have, I guess, the budget to make this fully animated, so you're just looking at pencil figures most of the time. Really like minimally drawn kind of thing. So I really appreciate the theatrical release, which looked phenomenal throughout. That movie is a 10 on 10 as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about the movie itself. The movie is loosely based off of Marvel's Ultimate Spider-Man comic book line, which I've never read personally, but in that version, Spider-Man dies and then Miles Morales takes over after being bitten by a radioactive spider, which is pretty much what happens in this movie. But I think they did take a lot of artistic liberties when they made the script, which is fine considering most of the people who watch Marvel movies probably haven't read the comic books they're based on. So being a huge fan of Spider-Man, I remember I was like a kid when I went to go see the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire, which I absolutely loved. This was amazing to relive the events of the Spider-Man trilogy as seen through the eyes of Peter Parker in the intro. It really brought me back to my childhood, and I was able to see exactly where this movie was going to go. Lo and behold, it takes a turn, and we're actually viewing the world through the eyes of Miles Morales. Just a kid in New York who lives in a world where Spider-Man is a huge hero. And throughout the video, you see snippets of Spider-Man saving the day on the news and whatnot. It really made that world feel like there was a Spider-Man, who looked after the city. Now, Miles Morales himself was someone I could really relate to. Growing up, I was kind of that awkward kid. I actually, in about grade 2.5 or 3.5, midway through the school year, I actually transferred schools. I'm not saying that's what happened to Miles in this movie, but the idea of him being taken from one setting where he felt he belonged to another setting where he didn't know anybody really kind of like stuck out to me. It's a major shift in someone that young to go from one thing to another, and that's something you see throughout this film. He goes from being just a kid in New York to being Spider-Man, and the responsibility that comes along with that, and what you have to learn in order to be that. Now, Miles Morales has this father who, again, I could associate with. My father was a teacher, and they're very by the book, very obey authority kind of figures who are just like, there are rules for a reason. And then Miles Morales has this uncle who's much more carefree, charismatic, teaching him how to hit on girls. A very cool uncle, let's say. And so he looks up more to his Uncle Aaron than he does his own father, in some respects. Now, Miles has a very artistic and creative side that he uses in the form of tagging and, stenciling, graffiti, which his father does not approve of. So one night, his Uncle Aaron takes him to a spot where his father will never find, and they do this amazing tag that says no expectations. During that time, Miles is bitten by a radioactive spider, and well, we know the rest. And upon feeling a strange change in his body, he decides to go back and investigate whether the spider was a normal spider or something more. What ensues is Miles Morales falls upon a base made by Wilson Fisk in order to collide dimensions together, where he sees Spider-Man fighting off, henchmen of Wilson Fisk. And again, being the massive fan of Spider-Man that I am, what follows in that scene made me tear up every single time that I have seen this movie. I think the second time I saw it, I actually just let the streams come out, because that is probably one of the roughest things that you can see, is someone like your hero passing on. They then have a scene where everybody's coming together after finding out that Spider-Man has been killed. And we see Miles, with regret in his eyes, going and buying a Spider-Man suit in a funeral ceremony where the entire town is gathered, dressed in Spider-Man masks and Spider-Man outfits to pay tribute to this colossal hero of New York City. So Miles takes it upon himself to shut down this dimensional collider after Spider-Man gives him a bypass key, or a goober as it's called in the movie. Luckily for him, he doesn't have to do it alone. He's caught off guard by another Spider-Man, which we then find out he was brought here from another dimension, as a Spider-Man who's lived well into his 40s and is actually starting to get bored with the job. I mean, he still does it, but his timeline, there's a lot more messy things going on. Divorce, his business goes under, Aunt May dies, all these things that happen with age. He's a much more mature Spider-Man, but at the same time he's a much more tired Spider-Man. And again, that's another character that I believe most of us who are in our 20s or older start to feel that, you know, when we were younger, we can take on the world, we can conquer anything, but as you get older, you start to realize that, you know, you just want to get by at the end of the day. And I saw a lot of me in both Miles Morales and Peter B. Parker, both of which were excellently written, and I can relate with both of them. And I think that's the best part about movies, is when you can relate to the characters that are being portrayed in front of you. We are later introduced to another Spider-Woman, in this case, Spider-Gwen, who is Gwen Stacy from another dimension, and is seen earlier as Miles Morales' crush from his new school. And I think you're starting to see a pattern here. Different Spider-Men from different dimensions are all colliding in this one dimension after Wilson Fisk's machine goes haywire. We're then treated to 3 other Spider-Men from different dimensions. And without getting too much further into it, that's about all I'm going to say about this movie. If you have any interest in good storytelling, I would highly recommend watching this movie. This movie is completely out of this world bonkers, amazingly good. I've felt more from this animated film than I've seen from a lot of recent movies. And this is all coming from the studio that made the Emoji Movie. But honestly, I felt this movie did not get enough attention. When I went to the theater, I saw it in January, and it was maybe less than a quarter of the theater was full. Well, I mean, it was nice for me. I got front row seats. I got this middle section. It was perfect. But this movie deserves more attention because something like this had phenomenal writing. I mean, when something happened on screen, I actually felt for the characters, even though they were animated. And even though their bodies might have been a little disproportionate, they looked amazing. This was an amazing movie. It made me feel things that I haven't felt for other movies in a very long time. You know, this brought me back to being a young kid again, where I could actually appreciate movies. It's a very strong story, it's well shot, it's well written, it's well directed. It's a very strong movie altogether, and I could not recommend it enough. That being said, I feel like I totally butchered this review, and this is kind of why I didn't want to do a review. Basically, I just wanted to get on camera and go, watch this movie. There's nothing else I could really say about it. I know I didn't do the best job in the world explaining the synopsis or reviewing the movie as a whole, but you know what, there's about 1,000 other channels for this. I really just wanted to get the message across that you should, without a doubt, watch this movie. And that's about all I have to say. Now, I'm sure you noticed me stenciling throughout this video. I was actually stenciling all the logos of the Spider-Man for this video for the sole reason that I wanted to say to you guys today that my spider sense is tingling. I'll be right back.
Swinging from rooftops to the gunshot, it'll never stop. Know that I'm locked in, this city's all I got. Spidey sense tingling, in the strangest of danger, there to save. It's in my nature, I'ma see you later. Stuck in crime on a dime all the time, it's hard to find myself. See the smiles of a child or a normal guy, to know it's alright. When I'm there, no need to fear, let's keep it clear, they don't fight fair. Villains beware, I'm in the air, my special flair, this my career. Whether I'm far from home or at a distance, I'm slinging webs and never missing. At a bad guy, say Jonah, maybe I'm not a bad guy. Cause after all, I ain't no threat or no menace, I'm just a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. I ain't no threat or no menace, I'm just a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. Ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy. I ain't no threat or no menace, I'm just a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. Ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy. I ain't no threat or no menace, I'm just a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. Ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, Spider-Man, ayy, ayy. I ain't no threat or no menace, I'm just a neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. Hey.
Well, I think that's enough Spider-Manning around for one day. Anyway, where was I? Right, the stencils. So, you guys, if you've made it this far in the video, obviously you've probably been a viewer of mine for a while. And I just wanted to show my appreciation for how much I love you guys. You know, I'm not really a big channel. My videos are a little tacky here and there, but you guys have stuck with me for the long haul. And it's time I give something back to you. So the stencils you saw me painting, they're all 6 of the Spider-Man that appear in the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. And because you guys have been so great, I want to give them to one of my viewers, you. Unfortunately, all I have is the one set. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of a contest here. One lucky viewer will walk away with this stencil collection that I've made. If you want to be eligible for the contest, it's super easy. Just type in the comments, Into the Tobro-verse or Into the Spider-Verse. I'll accept either one in this case. But if you have those words in your video, you will be entered automatically into the contest. Now I'll announce the winner in about a week. I'll draw a name in the next video based on anybody who's participated, and that winner, I'll get in touch with you. Through there, I'll find a way to mail it to your place. I'm sorry guys, for anybody who's not in North America, I'm gonna keep it kind of local. If you're in Europe or something like that, or Japan, the mailing of that would be astronomical, you know, considering it's a package and all. Though I will include Trinidad. That's the one exception. I'll mail it out to you. But North America, Trinidad, unfortunately, the rest, like Europe, Russia, Asia. Not that I have any fans out there, I don't think. But in future contests, I will open up to more of you, and I'll be able to maybe send something out further down the line. But this is my first one. I don't really have the money to just ship stuff up around the world, so it's just gonna be North America, South America. I mean, how much more could it be? So America and Trinidad are like the 2 places I am willing to ship this to. All you have to do to be considered part of the contest is in the comments write Into the Spider-Verse or Into the Tobro-verse. Either one is acceptable. I also have to give a massive, colossal shout out to the man, Kazuhiro Miller, who wrote the lyrics to the song you just listened to. Without him, I would not have been able to look as cool swinging around the city. He absolutely did a phenomenal job making the music for this video. So I definitely recommend you check out his channel. He does reviews, he does some gameplay stuff. He's really, really good at Devil May Cry if you're into that too. I would absolutely 100% recommend checking out his channel after this. Again, Kaz, you are the man. Thank you again so much for this video. And I'd like to thank everybody else who participated in this video. My neighbor's kid, my cousin, my brother, my brother's girlfriend. All you guys really came together and really helped me out. And with that, I think that's all for today, guys. Really thank you for sticking around to the end of this video. Other than putting comments into the Spider-Verse or into the Tobro-verse, if you like what you see on this channel and you want to see me do more, or you have a suggestion, comment down below and let me know what you would like to see me do next. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Who the hell are you guys?